They wouldn't be in Israel without our government.
I feel absolutely disgusted.
As somebody from a country who has been a victim to U.S.-backed colonialism, I stand with my Palestinian brothers and sisters.
It's really not normal for 3,000 children to die in a month in even a normal war. But what you're seeing with bombing hospitals, bombing universities, it's really an extension of the apartheid state, but also just a really new and terrible chapter in this conflict.
The most painful thing is that we can't help.
I think the world has to stand up and protect those without a voice.
Why are you here today?
I'm here to support the Palestinians and try to bring pressure to end the slaughter of Palestinian children.
And do you feel like the will of the people will be respected by the Biden administration?
No,
Why not?
because Biden was a warmonger before he even stepped foot in the office. I know that was going to bring us war, and a few weeks later we had a war in Ukraine, and now we got this.
So with all of the problems and issues we have in our own country, why do people not stand up to the fact that billions of dollars are going to Israel?
Americans don't look past their nose at anything. They're interested in having a good time going to football games.
So how did you learn about this issue, and how can Americans wake up?
Well, I first got interested in why the never-ending wars started, and then I saw what happened with Syria, and I know Assad is a fantastic human being, and he was falsely accused of gassing people, and that's been proven even by Jewish activists. Max Blumenthal and Aaron Mate spoke even in front of the UN Security Council, proving it was total lie. And I've been following it ever since, and just have educated myself on the actual history of Israel as an apartheid state.
So where do we go from here? What do you think is going to happen next?
Well, it's only grassroots. I mean, they'll never listen unless the more pressure is brought to bear, and there has to be a sea change in public opinion, and the government's doing a good job of killing itself by with the sanctions it's put on Russia. We've had double-digit inflation. Everyone's paycheck is worth less. When it gets hard enough, and then Americans will finally wake up and will elect a Congress that isn't a bunch of traitors.
And if you had one message to give to Americans, what would it be?
Listen to the Max Blumenthal and Aaron Mate and George Galloway on the mother of all talk shows.
Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome.
Why are you out here today?
Because as somebody from a country who has been a victim to U.S.-backed colonialism, I stand with my Palestinian brothers and sisters.
Everything that you're seeing going on, how does that making you feel?
It's incredibly upsetting. It's very sad. And I mean, I don't know what kind of world you could be in where you're not out here. You know what I mean?
Do you feel like the majority of Americans know what's going on?
I definitely, I have been suppressed myself. I posted something on TikTok and it wasn't up there for hours. So I definitely can see that there is a really big pressure to suppress this. We were actually talking about that. This probably isn't going to be in the news like it should be because it's huge.
Why do you think that it's not as big as, it is?
Because it goes against U.S. interest.
Do you think that being out here today, that the Biden administration is going to listen to the people?
I mean, I hope so, but our actions have to stay beyond just coming to this protest today.
So what do you think the American people should do?
Vote with your money, and have the conversations even if they're hard.
I just wanted to ask you today, why are you here?
I'm here because of the stuff that's been going on the last 3 weeks, and really the last 75 years has really just been atrocious. There's been a lot of horrific stuff going on. I mean, it's really not normal for 3,000 children to die in a month in even a normal war. But what you're seeing with bombing hospitals, bombing universities, it's really an extension of the apartheid state, but also just a really new and terrible chapter in this conflict, and one that I'd like to see come to an end as soon as possible.
Thank you. And do you think President Biden is going to listen to us when we're all here gathered today?
I think that the window for what's going on there is closing politically. I think a lot of people are waking up and seeing that this is really bad. It's several magnitudes worse than what happened on the 7th. What happened on the 7th, obviously, a lot of people died. I really don't like to see people die. But I feel like if you don't like people dying, you should also be against everything that's happened since. I wish no one would die. I think people dying is bad. So I'd love to see some peace. That's really what I'm here for. I'd like to see a ceasefire. I'd like to see some peace.
Why are you out here today?
Well, I came with a contingent of people from Boston to on a bus overnight because we don't want our government to be committing genocide in Palestine, and we see it as it's not just Israel doing it; it's our government that's funding Israel. And there wouldn't be an Israel without our government. So that's why we're here to stop it.
And do you think being out here today in D.C., President Biden is going to listen to us?
I think eventually he's going to have to. With all the public pressure, it's us here today. It's people all around the world, that I think are putting pressure on him. And I think eventually it's gonna make a difference. I just wish it was sooner than later.
What do you hope to see?
Ceasefire, end the blockade, and end the occupation of Palestine, and no more U.S. imperialism in the world.
What are you doing here today?
So today we're just coming here to show our support for Palestine, the people, our brothers and sisters in Gaza, and just show them that our voice is with them. Because I always say the only thing we can do is just show our support by posting online, sharing stories, and also showing peaceful protest.
And where are you coming from today?
Tampa, Florida. We actually flew in this morning, and we just came just for this reason here, alhamdulillah.
Why do you think it's important to be here with everyone else?
Because I feel like our voices need to be united, and this is the best way to show our support. It's by doing a peaceful protest and just showing all the misconceptions of how peaceful we are, and we just want to make sure that there's a ceasefire and the killing to be stopped in Gaza, inshallah.
And do you think all this can make a difference to the Biden administration?
I hope so. I feel like at the end of the day, we can never lose hope. But at the end of the day, we always have to have hope in Allah. And that's who we pray to and make dua to. So we can never lose that hope. But Biden and every other administration, they have their own agenda. But we just have to keep doing our part and raising awareness. And inshallah, that happens.
If there's one thing you want the American people to know, what would it be?
Just to do a little bit more research about Palestine and how long it's actually been around, the history of it, the culture of it, and see whose land it actually is. And just do a little bit more research and not take everything you hear on the news for granted. And just kind of befriend the Palestinian, befriend the Palestinian, and see what's actually going on there.
And if you don't mind me asking, where are you from?
I'm Egyptian, but my heart is always with Palestine, of course.
And do you Egypt is really going through a lot of things. We see them supporting the Palestinians.
Of course, yeah.
Why do you? What has been the most painful part about all this for you?
The most painful part is just every day waking up and seeing the endless deaths, seeing mothers being blown up, kids dying. It's becoming very unfortunately normal to see, and that's not something normal that we're supposed to see. So that's the most painful thing, is that we can't help. Like, all we can do is raise our voices, but there's nothing else we could do other than, inshallah, just hope that they end this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, of course. Thank you.
Why are you out here today?
I'm out here today because the liberation of Palestinians is directly tied to the liberation not only of African people, but of the earth, and ending Zionism, white settler colonialism will ultimately lead to better lives for everyone here. And I'm invested not only in my future, but the future of my future descendants. And so what we need to do is fight for Palestinian people, fight for the freedom of Arab people, and fight for the freedom of Africans and oppressed people everywhere. And I'm going to stand on that every day.
How are you feeling about what's happening today?
I feel very heartened because my father is Palestinian. I have family in the West Bank, and we've been thinking and talking about this struggle for decades, and to see that everyone is here in solidarity with Palestine is very heartening.
As an American, what do you make of all this? Do you feel like people are finally waking up to the truth, or people are still very much in the dark about this?
I mean, I feel like this is evidence that people are starting to do their own independent research and not just accepting what is spoon-fed to them. And people used to be like, oh, I don't know much about that topic. I don't want to really talk about that. That's very, dark and dreary. And now people are like actually conducting their own research and empathizing with Arab peoples in strife, especially Palestinians. And so I think that a lot of Americans are questioning, and that's a good.
Do you feel that the Biden administration is going to listen to the will of the people here?
Unfortunately, what is seeming to be happening is no. Students, like Muslim students, Muslim representatives, are just getting turned away from and shut down. And like the U.S. government is still determined to fund Israel and the IDF. So I don't know if they will.
Well, how do you feel about that? Do you feel hopeful? Do you feel like all this will make a difference?
I hope so. There's so few times in this life when we get to uphold our integrity as a human. So I hope that, people will reach inside to their humanity.
And what has been, as a father who's Palestinian, as an American, what's been the most painful part about all this for you?
Well, it's just kind of seeing the hopelessness for my cousins. They're not always able to contact us, and they don't want to leave home because there's dangerous areas and settlers are getting violent. The Israeli settlers and the IDF they've threatened them for decades, but it's just so much worse right now. So,
what do you want to say to them if you had a chance?
Assalamu alaikum, Rena, Ahmed. It's good to finally see you, sort of. I've never met them because my father never wanted me to go there.
Thank you so much. I'm so sorry.
I think there's an ethnic cleansing and a mass genocide of people, and it's inexcusable, and it's been happening for over 75 years on the face of Palestine. And I think that there has to be a ceasefire now, and we need to end the genocide. I think we need to keep calling our congresspeople and demanding them to sign on to the ceasefire resolution, because that is ultimately what can stop genocide right now. And then I think even more needs to be done. Like, that's the bare minimum. I think we also need to be supporting the Palestinian people by ending the occupation of Palestine. And we're calling him Genocide Joe, and Biden has blood on his hands.
How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. Feeling great. Like that is going on with different organizations and rides at Palestine.
And what's going on? What are you here for today?
So they are rising for justice for Palestinian people. They want the money back from Israel, and in order to do that, they would have to continue to march and get their voice heard. Because otherwise, you're not going to get a bill passed, and legislation should be mentioned about this.
How do you feel as an American that your tax dollars are being spent in Israel like this?
Well, see, obviously, a lot of people are upset about that, including I. But however, I have no control of where my tax money goes because we pay taxes and then the government does. But we do have a voice when we go to the polling box. And when you vote for an individual, vote for the person that's going to do something in favor for the people that you rise for.
And do you think that President Biden and his administration is going to listen to the will of the people here?
Yes, I do, because election time is coming. And after election time, you need the people. And in order for that to happen, you have to listen to the people. And for him to be reelected, he's going to have to listen to the people.
Definitely show my support for Palestine. Friends and family of mine have done activism in Palestine for the last couple of decades, and it's not acceptable. It's not divine to kill children and break commandments.
So, what would you like to see happen? What would you like to see America do?
End funding to Israel's genocide.
Do you think that being out here, Biden's administration is going to listen to the people?
I don't know, but I just know that myself, I will not be complicit.
So, you definitely have to do everything that you can.
Yes, and I feel like it's definitely resistance to this genocide is outnumbered.
How are you feeling on a daily basis? Like going about work and, are you in school?
I work. I'm not in school right now. Definitely a lot of crying. Yeah. And yeah, I'm fortunate to have a job where we can be vocal about our views, and I definitely don't feel alone in this view that this should not be happening.
Okay. Why are you here today?
In solidarity of Palestinian people, in solidarity of Sudanese people, in solidarity of all the wars that are happening in the world right now.
Where are you coming from?
I live here in Maryland, and I'm originally from Zimbabwe.
And what is your message to the American people?
My message really is to the world. I feel that yes, there was an attack against Israel, and Israel has the right to defend their borders, but I believe that they've gone well beyond protecting themselves, and I think now they are, you could say, cleansing a race, and I think the world has to stand up and protect those without a voice.
And you're here with your family today. Why was it important for all of you to be here?
I have to teach my kids to be a responsible citizen of the world. I believe in justice. I believe in fighting for the oppressed. I believe in giving everyone a chance to live. I live a very comfortable life with my family. We woke up today. I'm actually a Sabbath keeper, and we woke up today, beautiful home, beautiful kids, and I'm like, not everyone gets to live like this, and it's important that we work towards creating an environment where others can also enjoy the same liberties and freedoms that we enjoy.
Do you think that the Biden government is gonna listen to the will of the people here?
Remember, I'm from Zimbabwe, and South Africa is my neighbor, and during apartheid, people around the world galvanized support and showed solidarity against South Africa during apartheid, and I think that put enough pressure on the governments then to force South Africa for a change. And funny enough, Biden actually in Congress was fighting for black South Africans during his time in Congress. So I do believe that if we continue with the pressure, it will create some form of noise where people should listen and make a change.
And you said you keep Sabbath. I'm guessing you're Christian.
Yes, correct.
How do you feel about the church being bombed in Gaza, and like the Christians also being ethnically cleansed?
So for me, I would like to separate the two issues. I believe right now there are human rights issues at stake that do not have anything to do with Christianity or any religion, and everyone deserves safety. And I believe that even churches, are not supposed to be attacked just because of the political situations that are going on.
Thank you so much.
How do you feel about what's going on in Gaza?
I feel absolutely disgusted. I already knew a lot about the occupation and what was going on, but recently I started learning more about the history and about what was going on. And then when October 7th happened, it was clear as day just how our government and how the government of Israel was responding and trying to take more and more land from the Palestinian people. As a person of Mexican descent, I can understand the idea of being, invaded and taking your land away from you and taking your whole culture and identity taken away. And so it's disgusting. And I feel like being here is powerful because it shows to the world that the American people don't stand with Israel. The American people stand with Palestine.
So do you think that the Biden administration is going to listen to the people out here today?
Honestly, I don't think so because the government is not for the people, and it never has been. The government, our government has always protected the ruling class, which happens to be the capitalist class, and the working class has always, taken the short end of the stick from everything. Every decision that they make is for the benefit of the capitalist class and not the working class.
So what do you think the American people should do?
I think that what we can do right now is show our solidarity with the Palestinian people, and be loud to the world and to our government that we're not gonna support the genocide.
What do you hope to see in the future?
I hope to see Palestine free.